Welcome aboard, all you wonderful groomers, pet stylists, and canine cosmetologists. You found the Traveling Groomers Podcast, where we discuss lessons learned from mobile and house call grooming. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bear Anthony. Any moment now, we'll be joined by my co-host and friend, retired mobile groomer and educator extraordinaire, Maryoquendo, and very likely a special guest to help us chat about all things grooming, grooming industry related, and just plain fun digressions that I will totally wrangle back to topic. Grab those travel mugs and climb aboard to see where today's topic will bring us. Let's roll! Pet Edge is your provider for professional grooming supplies at great prices. Check their website often for new products, sales, and special offers. For a limited time, save 5% off your order with promo code TRAVELER5. Find what you need to succeed at petedge.com. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, groomers everywhere. A little bit of an editorial note. So we recorded and are editing this particular episode, two episodes, differently, because we have a very special guest and we knew we were going to be covering an important topic. And while we are used to going over, because we're chatty and we digress and we genuinely enjoy talking to our guests, which is why they're guests, we knew this one was going to be like big and had the potential to be a double episode. So that's what we did. We like legit yapped for 2 hours, but it was actually not as much digression as usual. It's a great couple episodes. So bear with us because we just didn't put any commercials in. And I'm editing everything in afterwards. So bear with us a little bit. Episode 298 and 299 are going to be a little different and special, but I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, here we go. Have fun. Aha. Mary said, let's get going. So I'm going to jump into, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 298, recorded on April 30th, and that will be airing on June 4th. We are so ahead of the game. So ahead of the game. I'm not used to what this feels like. It's weird. And we have a guest that we're just ignoring. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
So we have with us the lovely and talented Ashley Hanvey.
And, not at all talk about Hanvey today.
And we're not going to talk about Hanvey stuff today, even though they are one of our sponsors and they're fantastic and we love them. That's not what we're going to talk about. And Mary, I have a disclaimer for this episode. We may be pissing some people off. One of my favorite sayings is, the truth will set you free, but first it will really piss you off. So we're going to be discussing some terms that will piss off some of us, some of us who might be named Maryoquendo.
Okay, and why is
dun.
Mary know what the topic is?
I know what the topic is.
What's the topic?
Behavior and handling.
Behavior and handling. And what's a word that gets thrown around a lot currently with behavior and handling that gets poo-pooed?
There's like 100 of them. Be more specific.
Consent.
Oh, that word. Yeah. That
word. Oh, jeez. Okay, for those of you watching, her eyes rolled out of her head, or if you're just listening, they rolled out of her head. She just barely caught them and popped them back in. It was rough. So, all right, Mary, was I safe then to say that word can piss you off?
It pisses me off. Okay, the reason it pisses me off is that it is one of those words that means different things to different people. And when something means something different to somebody else, that's where miscommunication comes in and a lot of nonsense. It's a terrible word. I mean, I understand what the people who called it that were trying to get, but they're not, again, realizing this is a word that means different things to different people.
So, question for you. What
Yes.
does consent, the word, mean to you?
All right, to me, the word consent means I'm giving permission to.
Yes, and that is its most basic definition is the act of giving permission for something to happen.
Okay. Now, how I give permission to and how someone else gives permission to might be two totally different things. All right. So what does giving permission to look like to different people? And how does that look like from a dog? Because they're now humanizing our emotions to a dog or a cat, that it's the same thing.
So I'm going to jump in right there and let you know that current scientific data states that dogs' emotions are actually far more similar to us than what we originally perceived. Anthropomorphizing dogs is not actually as much of a problem as we thought it was.
Okay.
Now, remember, dogs have evolved next to us for millennia. They are very good at reading us.
I have an example regarding that. And that is when a dog does this. And they're waggling. All right, for those of you not watching, guys, what did I do?
I would assume you were grinning.
Yes, I was doing the doggy smile, the doggy smile, but that is not a natural dog body language.
Yep.
That is 100% them trying to communicate with us because they see us smile. And in the animal kingdom, you show somebody your teeth, that is a threat.
Mm-hmm.
But we know when our dogs are smiling at us, and it's not a threat. So basically what you're saying is that we haven't really anthropomorphized dogs that much. They're just that much our companion.
They are full on our companions. They've not only been with us for a very long time, but we have bred them to directly be our companions through very intentional breeding. We have literally molded them into exactly what we wanted them to be. So the general consensus is, yes, anthropomorphizing the dog on your table is bad, but they do have versions of our feelings that they also exhibit, but it's their version. It's a dog version.
Okay. And I'm going to disagree with some stuff, possibly with Mary here, but we're going to do it in an adult and loving manner.
Okay.
Even though she pulled the wrong ticket last weekend, because I was supposed to win something, Mary.
I was thinking about that earlier today, and I think the mistake you made was you did not have Shannon come in and kiss each of the tickets.
See, I kissed the tickets. Apparently, Shannon's got to kiss tickets. I'm just saying.
Shannon has got to kiss the tickets.
I did the whole and we'll get into what I put in for later because it is something we wanted to talk about. I'm still doing math and breathing deeply and not being amused.
But I have prepared for this because I wanted to make sure that I really hit on those hard-hitting questions.
Woohoo!
So do you want me to just start reading what I prepared and you guys can interject if you have comments?
Not yet. Mary, what is your comeback or takeaway or commentary on that? we're not really humanizing them as much as we think they are, or as much as we think they are. We
Yeah, I mean,
are.
I've got 4 little dogs and I consider 4 little children. So yeah, I get that. But, okay, if I want them to, or they need to do something, all right, I'm not going to make eye contact with them for me, so that they could do the thing I know they don't want to do.
Now you're talking about the very specific thing that's going around where the instructions from the owners are saying if the dog removes eye contact, they're removing their consent. You're going on that one specific thing.
Yeah, but again, the word consent means different things to different people. And we haven't taken our terms and defined them. If we had defined terms, okay, that we can agree upon, then that nonsense wouldn't happen. That's not what consent grooming means.
All right. So what does consent grooming mean to each of you? Are you ambitious and motivated? Looking to pivot your career within the pet industry? Hesitant to take the first step? Unsure of how to begin? If so, the Create That Program monthly membership is tailored for you. Gain access to over 20 hours of recorded content, invaluable workbooks, and practical checklists. Additionally, benefit from a monthly group coaching call with Maryoquendo, a 2-time nominee for Barclay's Contribution to the Industry Award. Are you prepared to make a worthwhile investment in yourself? For just $197 a month, initiate your journey towards leaving a lasting mark on the pet industry by joining Create That Program. Join today at createthatprogram.com.
Well, no, we're going with Ashley because this is why we have her on.
This is why, I also want to know what we think it is, because we, along with all other groomers who are listening to this, who are trying to be better handlers,
all right,
we have our preconceived notions of what it is.
All right, I think instead of using the word consent, we use the word cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
I need your pet to cooperate with me. That's not the word, that's not using the word consent, which again means different things to different people. I want the pet, so for me, consent grooming means that I want this pet to cooperate with me. And I'm going to work with this pet so that this pet cooperates with me rather than fights me.
And see, if I wanted to be pedantic, yes, that's a Googleable word. If I wanted to be picayune and annoying, which I do because it's that kind of day. Sorry, not sorry. I would say I don't like the word cooperate in that sense, because I've cooperated with people while wanting to kill them. I've cooperated with people doing things I hate, that make me hate them, that are just therapy sessions waiting to happen, but I've cooperated for whatever reason. Now, was that healthy for me? Was that good for me? If I cooperated with someone, not because I wanted to, not because I was happy with any of the things, not because I understood whether or what this needed to happen, that this needed to happen, that I needed to do this. I cooperated with it to make it easier. Is that something we want to put someone else through? Was that healthy for me?
How much reasoning skills do you think dogs have in comparison to people who overthink things?
Okay, that's fair. However,
so
how many dogs will cooperate with you? But still, and this is gonna hurt, because I've got a couple like this, so I'm not calling anybody out, that I'm not putting myself out there. How many dogs cooperate and let you do everything you need to do. But every
All right.
time they see you, the tail goes between the legs. They try to get away. They try to hide. They are clearly unhappy.
Okay, so let's take an example. Pooh Bear. I have Pooh Bear and I have Cecil here. Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear trusts me. So even though I'm going to do something he doesn't like, all right, he trusts me that it needs to get done.
Right.
Fight me over it, and he knows he's going to get a treat afterwards, right?
But how do you know that he trusts you?
And also,
Doesn't fight me. Oh, come
well,
on.
he does. But cooperation does not equal trust.
Okay, now let's take Cecil. Okay, Cecil has to get an insulin shot twice a day, and he hates that insulin shot with a passion. Okay, he gets a treat beforehand. He knows when it's going to happen. He doesn't like it. Okay, he will sometimes fight me a little bit over it, but he's got to get it done because if he doesn't, he's going to die, and that's
Yeah.
not the option we want. Okay. His concern is that I've done something to hurt him. So there is that little bit of trust that's not 100% there. Okay.
But he still most of the time cooperates with you, which
But
just
it needs to be done. And
Yeah.
I make an effort to make it as pleasant for him as possible. Okay. But it is still something that is necessary. And I wish I could just I don't know, by osmosis, put the insulin into his body, but that doesn't the way it works.
Wouldn't it be nice if they came up with a pill that worked just as well?
Yeah, and then what if he doesn't want the pill? And now I gotta force it down his throat. Okay, we're getting. I don't know. I mean, I can see Ashley going. This is. Is this worth the price of admission, Ashley?
So I do have some questions.
Uh-huh.
When you give Cecil his shot, do you pick him up, put him up on a surface? Do you have like a specific routine that you do every single time?
Yeah, very, very specific. So this is the way it works. It's snacky time. And all the dogs get a little snack in the evening. And he's very excited about getting that little bowl of snacks. Okay. He dances. He's very happy. I put him up on the counter because it's easier for me to give him the insulin on the counter. And then he eats that entire bowl of snacks. And then he knows the shot is coming. Okay. And he braces for it.
When that shot is coming.
What?
What does he do? Does he droop? Does he put his ears back? Does he shake?
It does not shake. He can be a little vocal about it. Like, I got the snack. There's no reason to give me a shot now, but that's just not the way it works. So he gets a shot. It's quick. He has a little meltdown, and then he's over with it. And then he gives me a kiss, and we go on.
What does his meltdown look like?
Or that he wants to rip me to pieces.
Mm-hmm. Do you name, do you name what you're about to do to him so that he knows when to expect it?
Oh, yeah.
And then you give him the shot, he's now in pain, and then he has and then he's over it.
Yeah, over and done with. In fact, soon as the shot is done and the needle goes down, he's good as gold.
Does he get a snacky before and after?
And after.
Okay, so he knows that this is over after snackies happen.
And
Poke
after
and cheese.
Poke and cheese.
Poke and cheese. I remember us having that conversation with Chrissy
And
Newmeyer-Smith.
it's quick. I don't wish to make this longer for him than it's possible. It's a quick lift up the skin, give him the shot. That's the end of it. Where the problem really comes in is as I'm looking for a good flap of skin, because I can only do it in one direction, because that's where I have control. If I turn him to face the other way where he doesn't get as many shots, it's harder for me to do it. Therefore, it takes longer. So we're doing it on the side that he always gets the shots on. There's nothing I can put on his skin to like numb it.
No, but it sounds like he has a very established routine. He does something that allows him to basically shake off the frustration and then he gets on with his life. And it's not like he hides from you, stops you from doing it by actually viciously attacking you or anything like that. You guys have a clear routine.
Yeah.
I actually,
Chris, I came home from the Northwest show. It's gone for 5 days, and he was very excited to see me. I had personally not given him shots for 5 days.
it seems to me that is his equivalent, his like doing that like right after the shot. I feel like that's his equivalent of cussing.
Probably.
Like that's him going, son of a bitch, that really hurt today, or that hurt more than yesterday, you effer.
Yeah.
I think that's just because sometimes when I get a shot,
the shot does hurt. I don't.
Yes, shots are not comfortable.
But grooming shouldn't hurt.
Correct.
But that doesn't mean it's things they necessarily like. I know when I'm on the road grooming, I want to keep things rolling along. With a 9-foot clearance, Hanvey mobile grooming vans actually fit through most drive-thrus to make lunch and banking on the go a breeze. With their clean-running diesel engine getting up to 5 hours runtime per gallon, you're spending less time and money at the pump. Visit Hanvey.com today to configure the mobile grooming van of your dreams.
Correct.
It does.
My own 2 dogs are a perfect example of this. Remy loves people, loves attention. He's a people pleaser. He loves being groomed because it means somebody is touching him, and that makes him happy. Syl, on the other hand, does not want you touching her in that way. If you are touching her in the way that says, hey, let's cuddle, I'll pet you, whatever, that's fine. But the moment she knows that you are going to do something, anything grooming related, she's not okay with it anymore. So they're the polar opposites. She pouts and droops when it comes to grooming, and he is excited because I'm getting touched more. Yes. So you would, Mary would prefer that we call it more cooperative care. Do we know what the definition of that is?
Yeah, because I wrote an article on it. Cooperative, don't ask me. I wrote the article like a month ago. But in a nutshell, all right, it just means both parties, groomer and pet, are working with each other. So the groomer is taking care to make sure that it is as pleasant as they can make it. And you want the pet to be accepting of the process or cooperating. And a lot of that cooperation comes from how we handle the pet. All right. If I just throw some dog on the table, and let's go back, Chris, I'm grooming just slightly longer than you. Okay. Where some of the techniques were that if a dog or a cat comes to you for grooming, the grooming will be done to completion, whether or not the pet wanted it or not. Okay. And if that meant you took that dog and you put it on its back and did an alpha, whatever they call an alpha roll, then that's what it is. Groom was going to happen. You didn't have to like it. It was going to get done. There was nothing really in those early days. And I'm not going to say everybody. I'm saying general consensus.
General, yes.
And that was one of the ways I was taught. I was taught a lot of bad habits.
But we didn't know they were bad habits at the time because that was what was.
Yes,
I do want to backtrack a little bit because we didn't get a chance to allow me to define what consent grooming is.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't. I hadn't fully let that go, but go ahead.
So I am not technically a consent-based groomer because that very specific wording is meant for the epitome of cooperative care. That basically means that when you're doing consent-based grooming, you are always providing the dog with an out. Whether that means they get a chance to leave the table or back away from you, take a break, whatever they need, they are provided that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about cooperative care, that's what we're saying. That, you know, the dog knows that their station for grooming is on the grooming table. They've been now conditioned to that. We all have a space that we generally tend to do things with. I'm assuming with Cecil, you put him in the same spot on the counter every time.
Every single time.
So when they're in that spot, they know that grooming is going to happen. And when they need a moment to decompress, shake it off, whatever, they find it overly stressful, they are allowed to back off from you and not be touched until they're ready to be touched again. Now, that's all well and good, and that is great. And all dogs are deserving of consent-based grooming, but every dog doesn't need it, right?
Yeah.
It's good for all dogs, but all dogs don't need that level. Remy doesn't need consent-based grooming. He is perfectly content with every single thing that is done with him.
That's Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear, right? I could do anything to him. And he may not be happy about something, but I can do anything to him, right, Pooh? I know, you don't like it.
So there are dogs that exist that do need up to that level of specialized care. I would consider that very specialized care. Syl is very borderline consent-only grooming with her at this point in time in her life because she just can't handle anything in that way right now. Now, remember, she's also under 2. She's still in her adolescence. Things are still very scary, and it's very important to me that she doesn't learn. She may never actually like being groomed, but I would like her to at least tolerate it, reasonably tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going out of my way to make her as comfortable with it as possible, and that does require that I allow her to have an out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all groomers do not need to end up being consent groomers. However, and all groomers don't need to be cooperative care groomers either. That is a ladder that is needed depending on the type of dogs that you're wanting to work on.
And I would almost be willing to say that some of the grooming you've done, Mary, is actually very, very close to actual consent grooming. Because Ashley, we had a brief call this morning when I had a dog on my table. And what I was doing with her, would you almost qualify as consent grooming? Or was it very close? From the couple minutes you saw.
I mean, the base definition is allowing them to have an out.
Mm-hmm.
But so you would start bringing it down a little bit more. I would call what you were doing, how I like to term it, respect-centered handling, where you're respecting the dog's needs to the best of your ability,
Mm-hmm.
but also, for the most part, within reason, doing what is needed for that dog.
That's true. Because there were a couple times, well, for those of you not on our video chat this morning, which is everyone but us, I had my little old lady Afghan this morning, and we got out of sync with her schedule. So she got matted, and she got to a stage where I'm not going to demat everything. I am cutting things out, but the owners are not ready to deal with seeing her shaved, because Afghans are bony dogs when they're young and vibrant. So they're not ready to see her bony. We're not at that stage yet. Like, I do what I can, I cut out while I can, and I try to make it into a couple different stops. She was having a relative no bones day where she was like, I'm just going to lay here on the table and you're
You
going
allowed
to,
her to do that.
yeah, and I allowed her to do that. Now, because, and this is where it wasn't full consent grooming, because it did get to a point where I went, okay, if I sent her home wet in places, that is not healthy for her skin. That is not good for anything. So what I did was I had my husband come and basically hold her up while I got the rest of the way. So she was still not doing what she didn't want to do, sort of. Like she wasn't standing on her own power, but she was a little old lady. She needed the support. And I got done as much as she let me do in the time frame we had, and I never push her past certain times.
I would consider that respect-centered handling,
Okay.
which I would put underneath the cooperative care.
Okay. So
So-
Mary, that's something we agree that's not consent, because otherwise I would have stopped at a certain point and I'd been like, and she'd probably have to be shaved by now if I just did that.
And technically, you're right. She probably already needs to be put there, but of course, her owners are the ones that have to be partnered to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
You can give them the ultimatum that it's time if you need to, because of XYZ. This is how she is. But also, I doubt she needs to actually be shaved. She could probably be more like a Teddy type clip or something. It's not like she'd be naked.
Yeah, and by the time we get to that point, I will work on her bits at a time and do what I can. By the time we get to that point, yeah, it'll be more of a.
May I ask you a question? Because I was not in the call, so maybe.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Can you hollow her out where it just looks like she has a lot of.
She's mostly hollowed out. She's getting there. There were certain places by her elbow I was working on, but yeah, she's mostly hollowed out. I did that last grooming.
Yeah.
Where I shaved all the belly.
She really wanted the dog to look like a collie, but you're talking a 14, 15-year-old collie. That was not happening anymore. She was just hollowed out. She had fringe on the outside. She had some fringe on the butt, but everything else was gone. You know what? Everybody was happy. She looked like a collie. The collie didn't have to stand for a ridiculous groom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was happy I didn't have to torture.
Pet Edge is the pet professional's choice for supplies and equipment from top brands. Check their website for new products, sales, and special offers. For a limited time, save 5% off your order with promo code TRAVELER5. Find what you need to succeed at petedge.com.
Well,
and that's pretty much where we are. Like, she's got some shaved bits like behind her ears and the elbows and her armpits and some stuff on the back. Like, she's got shaved out bits. And yes, y'all, yes, I know spot shaving creates mats down the road. I also know I'm going to see this dog in probably within the week, just for a quick house call visit to her house to top up some knots. I also know she's an every other week dog. We just got off schedule because shit happened.
Life happens.
Life happens. So we're getting her back.
Yeah, when you're able to see a dog on that much of a routine schedule, you can give leeway on what gets done. Mm-hmm. That allows you a lot of wiggle room.
And also when we have dogs that we groom for this long, like I've been grooming this dog 7-8 years. Like I said, I've been grooming her a while. And you get to know the dog and you get to know the people. And yes, I've had conversations with them, I think last year, about when we get to that point. But the dog's not fully to that point yet. She's closer today than she was when I first had that conversation, because she got really sick for a while and she bounced right the hell back. But when we're respecting our four-legged clients, sometimes that goes along with the emotions and feeling of the two-legged clients, as long as it is not to the detriment of the pet in our care. And I think that's the most important thing when we talk about, not to jump ahead, but when we talk about the old school way Mary and I were trained, where they
I
come
was
in,
trained it too.
they come in for a groom, you get that groom done. That is it. It happens. We're not there anymore.
And nor should we be, because just like with everything else in the world, things are changing. We don't stay static. We get updates in products and equipment. We actually take classes and programs on proper skin and coat care and actual skin science, which we didn't have back then either. Everything is changing, and we need to keep up with that. So, do you mind if I go off on a little bit of a tangent?
Go for it.
Isn't our tagline, we digress? So go for it.
So like I said, I prepared a little bit of commentary because I really want to try and get my point across. We've all spent some time reading comments in groups after someone shares a reel of terrible handling skills, and that person's looking for discussion. The feedback is generally mixed, anywhere from dogs can't consent to you're a horrible monster and shouldn't groom anymore, and everything in between. But one of my most favorite comments are, but my toddler doesn't consent for me to change their diaper. I must change it so they do not get a rash. I've seen that one a few times now where, well, my child doesn't consent to what gets done to them. All right. I actually have, experience in this area now.
You do.
So good point. Obviously, you must change the baby's diaper, but say they're like 2 years old, right? They're starting to have some autonomy, and they have some interest in what's happening to them. But how do you handle that diaper change? Do you fight with an alligator rolling, screaming, and trying to escape toddler, or do you find a way for them to cooperate with you? I hope that for the benefit of both parties, you find a way to cooperate. You'll be changing a lot more diapers as the toddler learns their way in the world before potty training, and it's better for both parties, physically and mentally, to work as a team. Yes.
You ever watch any of Wanda Sykes stand up?
Mm-mm.
So she talks about when her and her wife had a baby, and she's changing the diapers on the baby, and she's got, it's all warm, and she's got some music on, and she's just making it a calm, pleasant experience, and putting the powder and saying, okay, so you're going to remember this when mama needs diapers changed. You're going to remember how to do this nicely. Yes, we all agree that toddlers need their diapers changed. But if someone put up a video of getting their spouse to hold the child down by force while they're kicking and screaming and upset and doing the diaper change, we still agree that diaper change needs to happen. But is that the way to do it either?
So, obviously, finding a way to have your child cooperate with you is better, because then they learn over time that this isn't as bad as they're making it out to be. It doesn't need to be scary or annoying or traumatizing. But also, who really wants to fight with their toddler constantly?
Yeah.
But the same can be said for the dogs that are on our table. We have some people that, when grooming a dog, they just allow the dog to alligator roll, scream, and try to escape, but are still forcing it to happen anyway because, well, the customer's paying for it. They're paying for a haircut, so it has to get done. Now, of course, not every child can learn to cooperate in this way. There is a spectrum with everything. It's not cut and dry. So not every toddler is able to learn to cooperate with all things for various reasons. But that's when you step up to more specialized care, right? If we have a dog that's having a hard time and we are doing our best that we know how to do, but we're not able to connect with that dog, or they're just not resonating with us, because you know what? Not every dog is going to like every groomer. That's when you send that dog, if and when possible, to somebody that might be a better fit.
Hi, are you tired of buying cheap shears? Do you want to buy quality shears that are custom fit to your hand, but you're really a little afraid of paying an arm and a leg? Evolution Shears have you covered. No arms or legs required. Come on down, we will custom fit you. We are not the cheapest shears out there, and that is a good thing. Right, Mindy?
Can I have my leg back now?
Maybe?
Be a better fit. So when I think of cooperative care, consent, or respect-centered handling, I have a perfect example of how I do things. When I am bathing a dog in the tub, I had a specific dog in mind. I went to reach for his face and he turned away. Now, of course, I could just grab the face and just get the rinsing done if I really needed to or wanted to, but I chose to ask again by reaching my hand out. It took a couple of requests that time, but didn't take more than a minute, and he did allow me to reach out, hold his face, and finish the rinsing. I did give him a chance to be ready for what I was about to do to him. That is giving some choice, right? And that's kind of what we're asking for when the behavior and handling people that are jumping onto these, these posts on these reels. Can that poor dog just have some choice?
Yeah.
Because what I am seeing is that they're only seeing that dog as a canvas to ply their craft on, and not as an individual with needs. Now, we are a very art-based profession. It is wonderful when we're able to do pretty haircuts on dogs, but not every dog is ready to have a pretty haircut.
Not every dog, people coming at me for this. Not every dog needs a pretty haircut.
Correct.
Like, honestly, even if the dog can put up with it, maybe the owners are not in the point in their life where they can maintain it. Maybe there's a toddler home. Maybe there's, you're moving, you're having your yard redone. There will be a lot of mud involved. They need a number 5 or a number 7 special for a little bit.
I had a client who just had a baby. Dog was every 6 weeks, and a 0 on the head and a 2 on the body. He was very cute. And then they had a baby. And Dad brings the dog out to me looking a little disheveled. Okay. He looks a little disheveled. And I'm like, would you like to have the new baby special on your dog? And he goes, what's that? Well, basically, your dog's going to be naked. He says, yeah, we want that. The new baby special. And I'm going to sell that to my wife exactly like that. The new baby special. So, yeah, normally very cute, very well-maintained dog, but not after she just had a baby.
So I have another thing I want to discuss. The thought process, but we've always just gotten them through it. We use XYZ equipment to get them to comply. And then when those tools no longer work and the dog becomes a danger to himself or the groomer, we fire them.
Oh, so you helped make a problem bigger, and then you kicked him to the curb when you couldn't handle it anymore. Oh, fuck, I said that out loud.
Yes.
I ain't even going to delete it. Come for me.
I hear about this a lot. This happens a lot. To top it off, the groomers didn't even inform the owner that the dog was having a hard time in the first place, which resulted in the owner being blindsided by the information and then told that they're being fired at the same time.
Okay. First official digression, because your tangent, Ashley, was totally on topic. First official digression. Can we stop? I'm not even going to curse for emphasis, so you know I am serious. Can we stop lying to our clients? It makes us look unprofessional and like we don't know what we're doing.
Yep.
And it's rude. Can we stop being rude? And I will go further and say, there are nice ways to tell someone that their dog isn't being an ass. Their dog might not even be being just an ass. There's maybe some issues we don't know about. All right, sometimes they're just asses.
You want me to curse for emphasis?
Sure, we'll tradesies.
Okay, stop fucking lying to your clients.
Because I ran into this so much early in my grooming career, because for those of you who either haven't picked this up from the podcast or know me in real life, I don't lie well and I don't do subtle well. I will say things nicely, but I'm saying them, they're coming out my mouth. So when a client comes to pick up their dog and it's the first time I've done them and they're like, oh, how was Fluffy today? And I'm like, well, Fluffy really didn't want me to touch his feet or do anything with his nails, but we got it done despite his protests because I know it needed to be done and we were told to power through everything. They went, what? Fluffy doesn't like their feet touched? Well, the other groomer never had problems with him. And I could, 90% of the time, I could guarantee by that dog's behavior, the other groomer had fucking problems with them. There's no way this came out of nowhere. To that level, it wasn't I grabbed the foot awkwardly or there was a boo-boo. It was I touched the foot and I felt the snapping and the spit hit my face as they're trying to swallow my goddamn soul. Like they went from 0 to 278. It doesn't come out of nowhere the first time they don't like something done.
I want to take it a step further.
Mm-hmm.
I want groomers to stop patiently and lovingly pushing dogs too far.
I was just talking about this with my husband earlier today because he has a little bit of arachnophobia. And Chrissy Newmeyer Smith had a really good example of this. And this is what made things click in my head. She's like, if you are truly, truly afraid of, say, snakes, because snakes and spiders are something that people have deep-seated fears. I'm not talking, I'm a little afraid of spiders. I don't like them. Oh, if there was one in my shoulder, that's cat hair. If there was one on my shoulder, I'd freak out. No, I'm talking about if I told you there was a spider in the house, but it was totally contained. It was in a terrarium. It's a big tarantula. It's just here on the other side of the room. I'm talking you wouldn't want to be in the same room with.
You want to burn down the house.
You'd want to burn down the house when all you had to do is pick up the terrarium and take it out of the house. You're like, burn the entire house with fire. I can't, please God, no. Level phobia. Now, I know that there is a school in psychology. I think they call it aversion therapy. What is that the phrase, Ashley?
Something like that.
Something like that, where they, oh no, immersion therapy, where they're like, oh, we'll take your deepest fear and just shove it down your throat for like until you get the hell over it.
That's called flooding. And let me tell you, for most dogs, it doesn't work.
No, because you may shut down at some point. You may never, it may make your phobia actually worse because now you have a memory of someone rubbing a fuzzy tarantula on you gently, going, see, it's fine. It's not biting you. It likes you. Mr. Tarantula is your friend. Imagine somebody just took and rubbing a tarantula lovingly and gently on your arm while you are restrained. And this is
Did you
what
learn
we were.
anything under that type of stress?
No. Would you shut down?
Very likely. Also
Now-
might die, but you know.
But that's how I was taught to get puppies used to the clipper by their face.
Yeah, is to hold their beard, have it buzzing near their head, and just
And
come
just
at
pet
them a
them.
little bit with it and just pet them with it while
Yeah.
they're doing this.
While they're shaking because this strange thing, and it's terrifying. That's what we were taught.
I love being a house call groomer, but I hate doing laundry or worrying about asking my clients for fresh towels. Raypet has solved those problems for me with the Wet Pet disposable towel. Taking up much less space than traditional cotton towels and easy to wring out and reuse, these super soft, comfy, absorbent towels eliminate any cross-contamination concerns between pets, and now their new smaller washcloth size can even help those sensitive eye areas. Great for cleaning out wrinkles gently and thoroughly. Need to keep water bowls for your clients on hand that are easy to disinfect, but hate all the room traditional clanky metal bowls take up? Or just have a very active pet? Their collapsible silicone bowl comes with an aluminum D-ring hook that can be attached to your pet's leash or anywhere else in your van for easy storage. You can get one by itself or in their handy travel kit, along with a set of 3 tick removers and 1 small wet pet towel. So stop by their website to check it out, raypet.net, and tell them the Traveling Groomers sent you.
So another comment that I see a lot is, well, that groomer's patience will pay off on some of these horrendous handling reels. No, their patience needs to be used in a different way completely.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there patiently holding a dog's leg as it goes jerking away from you, trying to get you to let go because it's uncomfortable or off balance or whatever, that is not being patient. You are flooding that dog. You are making them uncomfortable. They are not learning anything in that moment other than they are scared. They don't know why you're still holding onto their leg. They're trying to tell you to let go, and you're not listening. They're basically activating the opposition reflex. When you hold on to them, their instinct is to pull away from you because they're seeing themselves as stuck, and they are trying to free themselves from the scary object so that they can save themselves.
Is that my problem, Ashley? I just have opposition reflex to like a lot of things.
Possible.
It's possible. But I want to go on a tangent from a tangent and down a rabbit hole now, Mary.
Okay.
But that's why I am so frustrated
And that's why I need to take some more classes and take some certification classes. And I was bitching to Ashley about this earlier, is because I totaled up some of the classes I want to take and some of the certification classes I want to take. And the four depends on how you count it. It's either two things or four things, is in the neighborhood of $2,000. Not, and that's just money. That's not including the time, because I have so much time. But I am so blessed to know so many people and have deep conversations, and just being at the shows and talking to people. I've learned so much that I look back at a lot of the stuff I was taught, and it's excruciating, because that's exactly how I was taught to groom dogs. And it makes me want to weep now, not cry, specifically weep with gut-wrenching sorrow that now I need to start doing better, because I get to work with animals and I'm blessed that I get to be their advocate, and I want to be better. And I'm teaching. I have to teach. I have to be better for anyone taking my class.
Well, again, education has evolved, equipment has evolved, tools have evolved. Okay. So when I look back at my early days of grooming, I cringe. Okay. But I also recognize that I've taken the time to get education, and just because something might have worked didn't mean it was actually the right thing to do. And, here I am 25 plus years later, and there's still, oh my God, there's so much knowledge, people, available today that I would have wished I had 25 years ago. So we're not even just talking behavior and handling. Let's talk skin and coat, safety, sanitation, ergonomics,
Tools, first aid, tools that have come out, that we know now not to put sugar on a dog's tongue or open wound.
Yeah.
Because
I've been grooming for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that one of the things that comes at me the most is the fact that I can't believe I was allowed to touch a dog with as little knowledge as I knew.
Yeah.
I was taught the absolute bare minimum, and then was allowed to actually make money working with animals without knowing anything about anatomy, about skin and coat, about any kind of handling practices besides, aversive ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get it done.
Get her done.
First aid. Like I was doing haircuts on dogs, and I had no place doing any type of work in that way. We are not properly trained in the US to groom dogs.
No. Oh my God, Ashley, did I ever tell you about the first time I cut a dog's toenails?
No.
Oh, this is awful. So I was training at one of the big corporate box stores. I say training. I was a bather. It was my first goddamn day as a bather. The training I got was, here's how we check in dogs. Here's where the soap is. Go. I had a boxer. The groomer goes, do you know how to do nails? I went, well, I've done my cat's nails. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and do the nails in the tub. Now, I'm going to over-explain for the two people listening or a couple people that haven't done cat's nails. Because of the architecture is not, the structure of the cat's toenails, a really easy thing to do is for the front, you just kind of go to the apex and go chunk. And it's super rare that a cat's quick is going to be longer than that. You just go to the apex,
where the height of that nail, and go chip, 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 nail's gone. Boxer. I cut one nail, maybe two, because sometimes you go chink and you get two in there, and I forget. I just looked at it, looked at all the blood. Fortunately, the dog was in the tub. Looked at it compared to the other nails and went, "That's not right."
Took most of the nail off, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Oh, I quicked the hell out of that poor bastard. I don't know that I've ever quicked a dog as bad since. Because I just went in, he was standing in the tub, and I just kind of went in it because I got no training. I got, here's some nail clippers, here's your grooming smock, this is what you do. Yeah, just like a cat nail. Legit told that. I was a little traumatized.
As you should be.
I look at some of the stuff that happened in the first year of me being a bather, and I don't know how the hell I'm still here. I do not understand how I am still here. But it was meant to be. It was meant to be. But yeah, I don't know where that was going.
So this is a good segue into, we are an unregulated industry.
Oh, we're getting all the controversial shit out in one go is what's happening?
Actually, this will be in two goes.
Oh, probably.
The part one and part two.
Yes.
So we're just heaping it on for two podcasts straight. So, and if anyone, this is all Chris's fault.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
All Chris's fault.
100%. Now, if we do manage to get another approximate hour, this is probably going to be a good stopping place. So who knows? Who knows how I'm going to edit this? I may just keep all of you waiting and say, they're going to talk about grooming regulation and legislation and shit. The bastards. I'm going to tune into that one so I can listen and burn them down. Or not. I don't know. Who knows how this is getting cut.
If you do decide to cut this in half, I will say now,
Mm-hmm.
I am debuting a new class at the Pepro Classic in Dallas this year, which is June 8th to 6th to 9th, something like that. First weekend of June.
Oh, then yes, this has to be in episode 1 because this is going to air right before Dallas Pepro.
This year, we are having a behavior-specific section at the Pepper Classic. And my new class is going to be the one that starts the whole thing. It'll be the first class at 8 a.m.
Oh, good for you.
Well,
it's the 8 a.m.
It's the 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, whatever. Well, it's fine. The class name is called Dogs Are More Than Hair. And in that class, well, realistically, this is a 1-hour primer because that is actually the first class for the very large and detailed behavior and handling program that I am currently writing.
Good.
But I need to get something out there.
Good. And where are you with that program?
Well, I'm trying to get this primer done, so
she's getting there. She's getting there. She's working on it.
The amount of size that this program is becoming, I may have to just like write a section and then release it, and then write a section and release it, because it's going to be huge, especially once I get to the actual handling portion. But so the first class is called Dogs Are More Than Hair, and in the primer, we are going to talk about what needs changing in our industry and with ourselves as groomers. I want people to give me a chance to explain in that class without getting too defensive. Just some hot button topics that we need to deal with, because We are part of the problem. The dogs are not the sole reason why things are happening to them. So we must examine ourselves, the humans, as part of the equation of why dogs are having a hard time on our grooming tables.
Yeah. And it's not always that they're not used to it yet. That can
Correct.
be a part of it. If they're puppies, that can be a part of it. But they learn quickly. They have the ability, I think, to learn quickly. My neighbor got a new toy or mini poodle puppy. They happened to be walking them as I was, coming out of the garage. And of course I had to be like, oh my God, give me the puppy. We'll snuggle on it. Oh, baby can't see. Let's get the thinning shears in and do some of it, but do by the eyes because baby can't see. So I had Cam holding the baby because he happened to be with me, and I didn't do trimmers because I stopped doing that anyway, because even the older dogs don't really care for it, and it's too easy to make it look awful. So I just used the little thinning shears by the inside corner of the eyes, and not grabbing her beard, doing her little mouth, closing her little mouth, because I'm like, no, I'm starting right. And she was for a minute, and I'm like, no, honey, we got it. And Cam's giving her love, and she went, oh, this is not. And she settled down really quickly, and I was really pleased. And Cam even said that, because he worked with me back in the just starting ages, so he's used to the more old school. He's like, that went really quickly. I thought she was going to fight a lot more. No, we showed her it was okay, and gently, and told her we loved her. And dogs can feel our emotions. They can feel our emotions and our intent. And if you have ever had a bad day, when I was at corporate, I said all the time, I swear they can smell my PMS. Actually, I said they can smell my weakness. Because there was one day a month when they were like, oh, she's not feeling good. Something is off. Let's go all crazy. But they can sense us. And I think it's part of that of evolving alongside of us to be our companions. They pick up on things. Hey guys, so believe it or not, finding a place to stop was harder than finding a place to put commercials, because commercials are only like 30 seconds. You're going to have to wait a whole 2 weeks to finish this discussion, but don't worry. We will be back. The part 2 to this, episode 299, will be airing on June 18th. So we'll be back. We're going to pick up talking about legislation. We're going to touch back on a lot of the things we were talking about in part 1, just kind of more in depth. And apparently, we have some opinions on some things. So we will see you next time. Be safe out there, guys. And have fun and safe and happy grooming. Bye. Oh, the wave. You actually get to see the wave this time, unless you're just listening to the audio, in which case, once again, don't know why I'm waving. See you next time. Well, that was fun, but now it's time to head home. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed chatting with you. If there are any topics you'd like us to discuss, or guests you want to see join us on this crazy road trip of ours, let us know in the Traveling Groomers Facebook page. Don't forget to thank our sponsors. And see you next week, guys. Safe travels.